It's NFL Week 4, and we are about to do one of our most popular recurring spots each week, our regular call with one of the most pleasantly tempered professional handicappers in the entire industry, Doug Upstone, who also just kills it week in and week out. Doug Upstone, I believe you had another winning week in our videos last week, right?
We did, yes, 4-2 altogether, and in the value plays now we're 5-1 the last 2 weeks. So yeah, things are looking pretty good, and yeah. Hey, I'm not going to push this image of I'm like some saint here, Peter. That's one thing. But hey, I try to be a nice guy, but hey, I got a few flaws about me and stuff like that. But those are things that's just me.
No, I hear. I try to be a nice guy too. It just fails. But anyway, Doug Upstone,
Peter, I have to tell you, Peter. Excuse me. I want to tell you the one thing this year I have noticed you are a much kinder and gentler Peter Loshak too. I'm impressed. I like it.
Really?
Yeah, well, to me you are.
That's not a good sign.
I think your attitude's been exceptional this year. I really I appreciate it.
I don't know. All right, enough yapping, Doug Upstone. People don't want to hear us going back and forth about this stuff. People want to hear your incredibly insightful value plays that you've given us each week. It's NFL Week 4. Doug Upstone, what is your first value play for us this week?
My first value play is going to be with Philadelphia to fly away from Washington. Now, last week, Philadelphia built up a big early lead and kind of coasted to victory and didn't do much against the Jets' defense the rest of the way. But I think the most important aspect is they got the win. So I think that helps relax this team. Now, Washington, on the other hand, to me, is just a complete train wreck. Jay Gruden, to me, I don't know. I don't think he should be an NFL coach. He hasn't shown the ability that he can be. He's really like a bad tout. When you listen to him speak, he talks out of both sides of his mouth, giving both arguments at the same time. I don't think he does a good job. I don't think his team believes in him either. Now, he knows he doesn't have a good quarterback situation, and it has not improved in the last couple of years. So you would think he would rely on the running game. But what has he done this year? He's gone away from Alfred Morris as his best running back because he's not as proficient at catching the ball. The only problem is Washington is 21st in the forward pass this season. That's not exactly tearing up the league. So I think this guy's a wreck. Now, it's not like Chip Kelly in Philadelphia is all good. They certainly have their problems as well. But I think his team believes in him, and I think they're going to come into Washington where they're already 15-8 straight up, and that 3 points, I think they're going to win by at least 8 in this one, Peter.
All right, well, this is an interesting game, Doug, and you were all over Philly last week, and you were absolutely dead on with that one. My sense is that Philly still has fundamental problems that's long-term going to be an issue for them. They still aren't really getting sustained offensive drives like they need to. They got benefits from I think it was defensive scores and penalties last week. My sense, I previewed this game with I believe Joe Duffy, and we both agreed that we kind of think that the over might be suddenly a sneaky play here with the sneaky good play with the total so low at 47 relative to how Philly often does offensively. I don't know. This is a tough one. My initial lean was that Washington getting 3.5 might be the pick. I'm certainly not going to contradict you, Doug Upstone. You have proven yourself. What's your second value pick for us this week, Doug?
My second value pick, Peter, is with Cincinnati over Kansas City. Now, the season is not quite a quarter of the way through, but other than New England and Green Bay, I haven't seen a team that's playing any better than what the Bengals are. They just tore up Oakland, who has since gone on to win 2 games. They just destroyed San Diego in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And last week, against a desperate Baltimore team, they twice gave up leads in the fourth quarter and still came back to win. So that shows me a lot about this team in particular compared to how they've been in the past. I think their roster, quite honestly, is as good as any 1-53 across the board. But then I look at Kansas City, who finally got a touchdown pass from a wide receiver after 18 games. But their offense is far from fluid. And the way Cincinnati can rush the passer, I can see Alex Smith on his back quite a bit again this week. Plus the fact Kansas City is 5-15 on the road versus teams that throw for 260 or more yards. And I think at 3 or 3.5, the Bengals are a solid value play.
I previewed this game with Tony George from TonyGeorgeSports.com. I know you do his radio show every Saturday and Sunday at Yahoo Sports Radio, and he agrees with you. He likes the Bengals here. That, of course, when I analyzed the game, I thought, that sort of seems to be the obvious play. It seems like a little bit too obvious. It seems like the public's going to be all over Cincinnati. But as of right now, if you like it and Tony George likes it, I loved his analysis on the game. I think Cincinnati might be the play. Maybe I'll tail it. We'll see where this game closes. Doug Upstone, what's your your third value pick for us, NFL Week 4.
My third value pick, I'm going to go to the total side this time, and I'm going to look at Minnesota and Denver. Now, we've lost a little value on this game because it opened at 45, and it has gone down, it actually went all the way down to 41.5. But with names like Peyton Manning and Adrian Peterson, you'd think there'd be plenty of points, right? Well, I think we know what we see with Peyton Manning. He's definitely an aging quarterback, and he's getting by more on guile and experience at this point. And Adrian Peterson has looked absolutely fantastic the last 2 games, but he's going to be going up against the #1 defense in the NFL, which is also 6th against the run. Now, I look at Minnesota's coach, Mike Zimmerman, and I really like his up-the-field approach that he has with his defensive linemen, where they just always are on the attack, and the linebackers right now are making plays all over the field. And with their ability to do that, I think they can really get after Manning and cause him some problems. And I kind of look like it as the video game Clash of the Clans, where everybody comes charging, and I think Manning's going to be in some trouble. Now, look at Denver. They're 4th in the National Football League in fewest points allowed. Minnesota's 5th. And unless we get defensive touchdowns here, I think the number is going to be safe at 42 or 43 to go under. And I would also advise to wait a little bit because I think this total still might go back up by the end of the weekend. So I don't think there's any hurry to go and grab an under at this point.
This one I completely agree with you with, Doug Upstone. When I analyzed this game, I felt like I had a really good read on it. I got it at 43. I did bet it on the under as well. Denver, they're playing more conservatively, trying to preserve Peyton Manning's health a little bit. It's kind of obvious what they're doing, and we know the game plans that Minnesota prefers. I agree with you, Doug Upstone. The under in Minnesota-Denver, probably going to be a good play. Doug Upstone, you've been killing it so far this year. You killed it last year. Hopefully you'll kill it again in NFL Week 4. Thanks so much, Doug.